GB, you good now?
I love it.
Gregor, we're looking forward to Argentina, but I just wonder how the review was into the All Blacks and maybe some of the opportunities you left behind in that game.
Yeah, look, it was a good review. There was a lot that we could take out of the game. It was a high level test match, and it was an open game, so we had a thorough review around our defence, our attack, and why at times we didn't take the opportunities we created. But we certainly wanted to take a lot of the positives out of the game. Our contact work was outstanding. Then there's the context of the game, the comeback and the togetherness and how they found solutions. But yeah, to be a better team this week, got to make sure we take those opportunities we're creating.
You wanted that All Black scalp, but is it fair to say that Argentina is a pretty big scalp in itself, the way they've been going over the last little while?
Absolutely. They are a top team. Like, they've beaten New Zealand this year. They've played, I think, 10, 11 test matches since the summer and showed their quality throughout that period. And even in the recent games, they pushed South Africa close at Twickenham. They had a record win last week against Wales, so they're full of confidence, very cohesive. And they play a brand of rugby that's enjoyable to watch, that'll test our defence. And they certainly seem one of the form teams in world rugby right now.
You've gone with largely the same group, just one change to the starting team, mixed up the bench a little bit. Duhan comes on there. Tell us about your thinking with all the selection calls, really.
Yeah, well, I thought the players played really well, and to have that as your first game of the season with everybody available was a pleasant surprise. I think sometimes that first game of the season, there's a lack of cohesion early on in the game, but I thought we were right into the game, especially in attack. I think we just switched off in the first action defence, but after that we defended well. So those players get the right to go again. They played well. And there's the benefit of going with a settled team, like what you've learned in that game. Another week of training will be a better team for that. So the one change is just really Rory Darge being fully fit again. So he's had a couple of weeks training. He had those minutes off the bench, and we feel having a genuine open side, someone who's played a lot of test matches in that position. He's a vice captain. It was right to bring him back in. It means Matt misses out, but Matt is obviously a very good player for us. He's competing with two guys, a 6 and 8, who played really well last weekend. In terms of the bench, we just felt 5-3 was the right option this week. And we went for 2 back rowers on the bench rather than a second rower, because we've got Gregor Brown there that can cover second row. And we really like that, the makeup of the bench, with the speed we can bring on at some point in the game. We believe it'll be dry and it'll be an open game.
Just a word on Darcy hitting 50. He's been a brilliant player for Scotland. A word on what he's done for the national team, but also his last few months and the whole roller coaster with the Lions, and he's had a few setbacks that he's had to overcome to get where he has.
Yeah, he has. Like he's had a few injuries, and to get to 50 caps and be a joint top try scorer in our history is saying something for his ability when he gets those opportunities, but also how he's responded to injuries. And he's really improved his game too. When he first came through, he was very difficult to defend because of his footwork and his strength. But he's added so much more to his game. Like, his contact work is outstanding. His high ball work is excellent. He's a link player now, so he creates opportunities for others. When he draws a lot of defenders onto himself. So, no, we're really pleased for him. Like, to get that Lions game in the summer become a Lion, he really deserved that with what he's done for us over the last few years. And now to get his 50th cap, it'll be a special day for him.
Gregor Brown, let's see. He did put in a great performance last week. It shows a lot of faith that he's your second row cover as well as starting there. You talk about the way that he's grown and the way that he's been able to kind of really impress you in the coaching group.
Yeah, like this time last year, we wanted to play him against South Africa, and that would have been a big test for him. But that's the faith that we had in him, either as a back rower or second rower. And then during the Six Nations, he stood out as a second row and started our last game in Paris. And this year he's probably got more opportunities at Glasgow in the back row, and brings the same game, the ball carrying, the line-out ability, his handling and his defence. And he showed at the weekend that he's a quality player. So I think during the game, if we do need to make a change, and that might not happen, I think our both second rows were outstanding last week, Scott and Grant, and they'll be doing all they can to play 80 minutes. But if we do have to make that change, then Gregor can slot in there comfortably. Both Scott and Grant are line-out callers, so he doesn't need to worry about that. And with Josh on the bench, Josh is a line-out caller too. He has played second row for Bath. That wouldn't be our preference to put Josh in the second row, but we do have cover there.
So Peter had told us earlier in the week that Finn had trained fully, but we assume that there's no kind of lingering effects of the injuries that he was carrying on the weekend.
No, he managed it himself at the beginning of the week in terms of contact and not doing as much kicking, but he's training both our main training sessions. He kicked yesterday fully, so yeah, no worries there.
Do you learn much from Argentina's performance last weekend? How much have you been laying into what they did in the Rugby Championship in terms of what to expect from them on Sunday?
Well, the last game is always the most relevant. It's what they've been working on and maybe traits that come out of their game, but you have a whole bank of data on the opposition, especially someone like Argentina who've been together for a while, with the same coaching staff for the last few years. They do mix up their attacking game. Like they've got a way of playing which is to move the ball wide at times, but they have different attacking shapes. So they might throw something different at the weekend. What they've been consistently excellent at is their high ball work. We saw that when they played the Lions in Dublin in June, July. It's been a hallmark of their success, winning the ball in the air. And it's something we have to control, manage, but also dominate this weekend.
Important. So it was the All Blacks last week, but just people are a little bit, the fans are a wee bit down from a defeat, one that you were right in. It's important to get back on the winning trail, build momentum, and send Murrayfield home happy this weekend.
Yeah, well, I thought Murrayfield were happy at the weekend as well. Like, we were disappointed we didn't win, but that's the best atmosphere I think I've experienced since probably, I don't know, when I was there in the terracing back in the early 1990s. I thought the way the crowd connected with our players, how they backed our players even at 17-0 down, and how they were with us on that journey throughout the second half. Yeah, of course there'll be disappointment like we have, but I think there's another sellout this weekend, so it shows that the supporters are really behind what the players are doing right now.
How's Xander, Gregor?
He's good. He's good to go. So we had to make a decision earlier in the week whether to risk him in this test match, or not risk him, but involve him. And we made the decision to not play him, and that's partly due to how well Darcy and Elliott played last week. The nature of this test match, it's obviously up against a quality side. And we hadn't yet seen what Xander done in training, but he trained fully. He's back to his competitive, aggressive self yesterday. And yeah, he'll be available for selection next weekend.
You've obviously not played Argentina for a few years now, but how much improvement do you think they've made since you last played them?
They've always been a top 8 team in the world. I think the last couple of years they've got themselves into the top 6. I think they've grown really cohesively over the last couple of seasons. They've got a lot of quality individual players, but I think that time they get to spend together from June to November that the Southern Hemisphere countries get, you can see them growing and growing. They've got a really good coaching staff who respect a lot. Their way of playing has really suited Test rugby right now, which is having a good attack, strong defence, but also ability to win the ball in the air.
Great, thank you.
Thanks.
Cheers.